ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
A shocking turn of events for a former East County Congressman, Duncan Hunter. Late this afternoon, President Trump granted him a full pardon.
And this comes just 1 month before Hunter was due to report to prison. Late last year, Hunter pleaded guilty to stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign donations for his own personal use. Congressman Darrell Issa, who succeeded Hunter in the House, released this statement saying, "I'm pleased that all of the Hunter family can spend this Christmas together with a fresh outlook on life."
Meantime, Issa's former opponent in the primary, Carl DeMaio, wasn't thrilled. In a statement, he said he disagrees with the pardon and that, quote, politicians should be held accountable for following the laws that all of us citizens have to follow, no exemptions. We did speak with the USD business law professor Craig Barkas, who gave us his reaction to the pardon.
We all know that Donald Trump regards loyalty as very important. So in that regard, this could definitely be seen as rewarding the loyalty that Duncan Hunter showed by supporting him so early in his campaign.
President Trump also pardoned former Congressman Chris Collins, who is in prison for wire fraud and lying to the FBI.
Also tonight, small business owners across San Diego are about to put in for their share of that $285 billion pot of forgivable federal loans. A new round of paycheck protection loans is part of the new stimulus package that, if President Trump doesn't veto the current deal. But as our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains, why getting one of those loans could be harder this time around.
2020 has been a year of challenges for Catcom and her Rancho Bernardo gym.
We have major restrictions on us and visits are down probably more than ever.
Even moving the exercise bikes outside was a struggle. Com got stuck in the elevator for more than an hour before fire crews got her out.
You know, we're still doing the best that we can.
But Com finally sees some help on the way in the new stimulus package. It includes $285 billion of forgivable Paycheck Protection Program loans, which small businesses like hers can use to make rent, pay bills, and employees.
As long as they do their best and it's moral and that the funding goes to the small businesses that really need it and that, you know, loopholes are not exploited, then I just feel like that's the best that we can hope for.
The first round did not go smoothly. In fact, major corporations like Shake Shack got the maximum $10 million and ultimately paid it back after public outcry. This time, however, there are protections against that. Eligibility is limited to companies with up to 300 employees, down from 500 in the first round. Loans are capped at $2 million, down from 10, and companies must show revenue down 25% in at least 1 quarter compared to a year earlier.
Congress doesn't want a PR nightmare, and I think they want to try to help the people that need it, but not, you know, dump taxpayers' money into big business that's doing just fine.
Small businesses have been waiting for that help for months. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
All right, as we mentioned just over an hour ago, President Trump called the bill a disgrace and wants it amended, specifically the amount of money allocated for direct payments to Americans. He stopped short of threatening to veto the bill.
North County families are still waiting to hear whether their kids will have the option of returning to campus after the holiday break. The San Diego Union High School District Board held an emergency meeting today after teachers sued to keep schools closed. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco shows us how the reopening plan is dividing the community.
A few dozen students and some parents gathered outside Earl Warren Middle School Tuesday. They're protesting the district's plan to give students the option to return to 5-day-a-week in-person instruction in January.
Our teachers have taught us to stand up for what's right, and we see that the board is not listening to their needs.
Why can't we just wait a bit more, get ourselves out of the danger zone, get beyond the surge, make sure that teachers are able to be vaccinated to the majority extent possible.
Inside, the San Diego Union High School District Board is talking about how to address a legal petition filed by the teachers union that seeks to block that January return. Jane Waltman has 2 kids in high school.
Just another stall tactic. I think if we weren't in, why didn't we go back when 80% of the families wanted to go back and we weren't in the purple chair?
The district says teachers who are at high risk for the virus can continue teaching remotely until January 27th. Beyond that is unclear.
Of course, if a teacher has a documented health issue, I do not think they should be forced back in the classroom.
Under the state's health mandate, individual schools that already opened for in-person learning were allowed to stay open when the county fell back into the purple tier. The petition challenges the definition of what is considered an open school.
The instruction are done through small cohorts, and we believe that the intent of the reopening plan was if grades were going through a reopening.
Basically, this is a teaching model that was not intended to be long-term.
How much longer is something that may be decided in court. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The union estimates up to 20% of teachers won't return under the current reopening plan. And here are the latest coronavirus numbers in San Diego County. More than 2,300 new cases were reported today. That brings our total to more than 132,000 cases since the pandemic began. 28 more deaths were also reported. More than 1,300 San Diegans have died from the virus.
Our local hospitals are also dealing with that surge and the number of patients as well. As a result, they find themselves now short of staff. There's a special demand for more nurses. Our ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl looks at where hospitals are going to find the nurses they desperately need.
It's not the supply of ventilators, PPE, or medication that California hospitals are most worried about. It's the number of healthcare professionals on hand to run nearly full ICUs.
Staffing is our number one challenge.
Everyone good? The state is desperately searching for 3,000 temporary medical workers to meet the demand, particularly nurses trained in critical care.
California has the most needs in the country right now. It's the number one state that we're seeing needs. So California is definitely being hit the hardest.
Sophia Morris is with San Diego-based Aya Healthcare, the nation's largest travel nursing agency. She says they're onboarding new travel nurses as fast as they can. But at the moment, the state's top health official estimates 1/3 of the requests for travel nurses are going unfilled.
We're adding hundreds and hundreds of new clinicians to start, particularly in California, every week. So it's coming. I think it just feels like it's not coming fast enough.
She says Aya will add nearly 800 more travel nurses in California by mid-January, on top of the more than 2,600 already on assignment in the state. But some experts say it's a challenging time to find spare nurses because so many regions across the country are dealing with surges. On top of that, the number of registered nurses over 60 has dropped, according to a survey by UCSF, which found that many stopped working out of a concern for their own health. In response, California hospitals are trying to free up staff however they can, including by postponing certain medical procedures. The state has also temporarily loosened some restrictions. Typically, California requires 1 ICU nurse for every 2 patients. That's been relaxed to 1 nurse for every 3 ICU patients. The state has also shortened the quarantine period for healthcare staff in certain situations from 10 days to 7. Morris says hospitals have made other changes to get more temporary staff.
There have been adjustments in contract length. There have been adjustments in the standard onboarding requirements, or even just the general requirements that a facility might have. They're looking at the type of skills that they need a clinician or a nurse to have, rather than just the years of experience that they had.
The state has sent more than 600 temporary healthcare workers to hard-hit counties from the National Guard, the California Health Corps, and other partnerships. But they're still looking for more. State officials have started reaching out to other countries like Australia and Taiwan to get much-needed medical workers. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
An annual count of San Diego's unsheltered homeless people will not happen next month because of the pandemic. The count is normally conducted by the Regional Task Force on the Homeless, and they usually do it in mid-January. But today, the task force said sending more than 1,500 volunteers onto the streets right now, that's just not safe. So this year's count, it will be canceled. The task force says it will still count the number of homeless San Diegans currently staying in a shelter.
Drag queens are among those trying to survive the disruption caused by the pandemic. Our partners at KPBS report how the community is learning new skills to stay afloat. Vivi Incognito is the owner of the costume shop Whips and Furs in North Park. Vivi has also been a drag queen for the last 10 years, traveling to perform a couple times a week. But all that came to a halt this year. Like other queens, that's when Vivi started performing for her social media audience, learning a new set of skills in the process.
well, most drag performers have learned a new skill. Not only do we style wigs, style outfits, do our makeup, but now we've had to learn how to record, edit, and produce our own music videos.
Oh, I want Vivi to come do my makeup, Steve. Vivi says they cannot wait until they're back on stage performing. And with cases still surging, you can track the latest COVID developments with the ABC 10 News app. Find it for free in the App Store.
New video evidence has emerged in the case of that Carlsbad woman murdered on a hiking trail. Today, a judge revealed the name of the accused teen for the first time, 17-year-old Haloa Baudet, but ordered his face blurred. Prosecutors say this image shows him running away from the park the day that Lisa Torberg died. A few days later, investigators say the cameras captured the teenager on the same trail. He was arrested a few days after that for prowling on the trail. Once in custody, a sample of his DNA was taken.
Ultimately found that DNA from the swabs, Haloa's DNA, matched the male DNA on Ms. Torberg's shorts.
The next hearing is scheduled for late January. The teenager will remain in custody for the time being.